Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to play the pit position on Inferno. This video is gonna be split in 4 categories. The first one is gonna be early round, the second mid round, the third late round, and in the fourth I will be showing you some utility you can use. On the way I will be showing you examples from pro player demos. So let's start with early round. The first thing I want to show is when you have this spawn, which is the best spawn you can get from top mid. What you want to do is you can run towards top mid and you can jump over mid to get information if somebody is going banana or if somebody is ramp. And the thing about this is that you have the best spawn, so if there is a terror stopper who comes here and wants to watch the cross, you have a better timing. Even if he has the best spawn as well, you will still be faster than him and he cannot kill you. And also after you jump here, you can then go through here and jump to get info even on second mid. In this round we can see that Ramp's got the best spawn that I talked about, and he is going to jump over top mid to get the info, and then he is going to try to get into boiler, but here I am going to molly him. What you can do if you get any other spawn is that you can start on balcony. You just go on the balcony the usual way. And you can even go inside of here and listen for some footsteps. You can jiggle a bit with a Molotov. And then you can go back towards balcony. And there are angles like this. You can also stay here and aim above the light switch for good crosshair placement. And also you can use something like this, where you see them when they cross and you can even hit them once or twice through the wall and they will not be able to shoot back. Another way you can start the round is with your short player or your opener. You can get a set of pin-ups. One of the setups is one of you comes here. It can also be with dope here. But if your two rifles, it still works pretty well. One can be holding this angle, and the other can hold an angle like this, or like this. This is a really good setup because the people who go in ups usually don't clear this angle properly, and most of the time it's gonna be an easy kill for you. And if you're on one of those two positions, the boiler player is not going to clear properly most of the time, and it has to be an easy kill for you in that situation. Another setup which is more passive is that you can hold an angle like this, and the other player can be holding here. You can also start in some kind of a short setup. You can do one guy boosted up here, one guy under here, and one guy towards long, maybe with an AWP. Another way of playing in the early round is to play on graveyard, which gives you generally strong off angles, but you cannot play during the mid or the late round, because you can easily get traded from here. So it's a good position to get one enter kill and then just jump into pit. Or if you're here, you can again get one kill towards there, or peek short when the enemies are coming in. But it's generally not a good position for anchoring, because you will not survive for too long if the enemies are getting in, because it's generally gonna be easy to trade you. You're gonna kill one like this, maybe kill one like this, but by this time you're getting pushed by the enemies and they're probably going to trade you. In this round we're going to see Magisk from Vitality start on graveyard on the headshot angle that I showed you, and he's going to hold ups for a while. And after Greyhound shows some presence, he's going to go over to pit, so he is more safe and able to survive and get multi-kills if getting her to walk onto the side. Which way you start is going to depend a lot on how the enemies play. If they play a lot for top mid control, you can always start Tio on short, or maybe on Tio on long if they like to go long. If they have a lot of presence in ups, you can play one of the up setups that I showed. Now for the mid round. Most of the time you should be either on the balcony or in pit in the mid round. It will depend on what your short player is doing and what the enemy is doing. So if your short player is already falling back to side, you can play an angle like this, and your short player on side can play some angle like this or like this, where they cannot see him until they go there, and when they're already there they'll think it's clear, turn around and clear towards mini pit or towards your own balcony, and he'll be shooting them in the back. That's pretty much the only way where you can play together with your side player if you're on the balcony. So most of the time, if you want to play balcony, your short player should be somewhere around porch or around closer to top mid. And if he has to fall back, you can play this angle as I already showed. And the better option is actually to fall back to pit or to mini pit, where you have better crossfires together with your side player and you have better angles to work with if the enemy is getting onto the side. Something I didn't mention is this smoke that SDY likes to use a lot. He just throws it against the door frame with a little bit of walking, and this smoke is very useful for preventing ups drops from your opponent, and also with this way of throwing it where you walk forward, you can hold the angle towards boiler like SDY does here. Some setups that you can do are the one that I showed with you there on the balcony, and the short player can be on this box there. Another way is you can play pit and mini pit, which is a really strong setup and really difficult to deal with from the T perspective. Another thing you can use is mini pit and first box on side. It's a great crossfire, and the guy on side can be the first one taking attention, and the guy from mini pit can peek, or he can just stay here and hold the crossfire. He can also watch for anyone who wants to drop from up, so if you hear anyone on the balcony, you should be ready for somebody jumping out here. In terms of rotations during the mid round, the pit player should be the last one rotating from the A side, and the reason for this is because you have the strongest angles to work with when you are alone. So if you just stay on the balcony, or if you stay in pit alone, you can get a few kills easily and help your team a lot in that way. But if you leave the short player alone, he has to move towards those angles, which is a bit of wasting of time, and also he's going to usually be closer to a rotation or closer to mid to try to take space when there's presence on B. The long player should be the first one rotating, and the short player should be the second one rotating, following this logic. Something else you can do during the mid round is, if your opponents have already taken top mid and you feel like they're not there, you can use this smoke right here, which will smoke of top mid, and you can flash for your short player like this, and he'll be able to peek top mid, and everyone who was watching him will be full blind. So when you throw the flash, he has to turn around so he doesn't get blind, and then he can peek and check. If there is anyone, he'll get a kill onto a blind person, and if there is nobody, you got information and you can now stack towards B or be ready for anyone in ups. Now in terms of the late round, you should be mostly in pit, because pit gives you the strongest angles to work with and the most ability to survive and to get multi-kills. Because if you play on balcony during late round teams will do executes. On balcony you can get flashed by a lot of different flashes that people use, and you can easily get isolated if there is a smoke on site like this, and you won't be able to get more than 1 or 2 kills before getting traded. But on the other side, if you play pit during the late round, if the enemies are coming in, there's a lot of things you can do. If you still have your Molotov, you can Molotov short, use your smoke on pit, even use your flash towards short, and you can survive for a lot of time and even get kills through the smoke, or you can hold some off angles around the smoke. And it's pretty easy to survive and to get multi-kills if you know how to work with the angles. One important thing though for later on is, if you play it pit 3 or 4 times in a row and the enemy knows it, they'll probably start to find the counter. They'll try to nade you, they'll try to maul you in a better way. So if you play it 3 or 4 rounds in a row, you can expect the enemy to nade you. So in this situation, you can now play on balcony, and they'll be hard clearing pit, nading it, and wasting utility while you're on the balcony, and you might be unexpected and get even 2 or 3 kills. Now, one very important concept for a late round is staying alive. The most efficient way to stay alive in pit is just using your smoke, like this. The smoke gives you the ability not only to hide inside of it, but also to work with really strong angles, like this one, where you can watch ups and not get killed by ups. You can also watch across to one side like this, where you will not get cleared even if there's no smoke. You can hold like this. And you should generally stay behind the wall and try to hold for anyone who can try to push you. So if there's anyone coming short from here, you should be ready to catch him when he is crossing, and you can even peek into him when he is crossing. If there's anyone graveyard, you should generally hold something like this, and it should be an easy kill for him because he cannot know exactly where you are. If anyone is pushing it in here, it should again be an easy kill if you're holding something like this, because he will probably try to jump. Also, if the enemies are on site, you can try to hold angles like this, and you can even try to take some space like this if you have teammates already close. They can even flash for you like this, so you can kind of get a peek onto site. So you can check towards the box there, towards default, and you can even hold something towards the side like this and check default like this. Usually if I play like this later on, I get a lot of kills and I survive for a really long time, so the rotations can come in and it is an easy round win. Now for the last point, for the utility usage, I already showed you the utility combo you can use to take top mid. You aim there on this pillar, you jump through, and then you can flash like this. You aim just on the bottom of the roof there, and you left click here on the bottom here. Other utility you can use is you can come on top of this box. You can see this line and aim until you reach this level, and then you can run pulse jump through, and it will be a nade on top mid, which you can use if you know that the enemies are taking top mid. So if they're throwing smokes and flashes, you can easily throw this nade and do a lot of damage to 2 or 3 people. Some utility you can use earlier in the round is you can throw this Molotov. You come on this line and you aim on the corner of the window there, and you jump through. So this Molotov is going to land on the balcony on second mid and even burn under it, so you can delay the players that are trying to go into boiler fast. Also something else to punish people who want to go fast in boiler, so you can come into this corner, aim above the middle of this window until you reach the level of this flower pot, and then you can run and jump through. And the nade is gonna land nicely on the balcony, so if anyone has jumped up, you do 50 damage to him. Some one-way smokes that you can use on site, which are not exactly for pit player, but if you find yourself on site, which could happen, some smokes you can use are, you come on this line here, You aim on this bright pixel there and you right click. It's gonna give you a nice one way here, towards short and towards balcony. If you are playing here on this box, you can aim on the side of those dotted lines where you are crouched until you reach the middle of the black line, and you can right click again until you get a one way towards short. And if somebody crosses really close, you are going to see his head, and if they somehow cross without you killing them and they try to plant default, you can easily spam them and kill them. In this example we can see Robs that is going to do the Molotov which I showed you that lands on the balcony, and he was about to also throw a grenade after the molly burns, but Heroic threw a molly and he cannot line up his grenade.